All right, let's dive in. Today we are going to build a blueprint, a really clear guide to the architecture of intelligence. We're going to break down how modern AI and machine learning apps are actually built. From a simple idea all the way to a powerful tool that makes real decisions. This is basically the essential framework for anyone who wants to understand the tech that is absolutely shaping our world. Let's get to it.
Everything really starts with a question. And for us, this is the big one. How do we actually get from a concept in our heads to a smart learning application that can predict things or classify stuff or even create something new? That's the journey we're about to map out, step by step.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the big picture, what I call the intelligence loop. Then we're going to get our hands dirty with the raw materials, the data itself. From there, we'll look at the engineering that holds it all together, the learning engines that provide all the power, the whole end-to-end process, and finally, the exact tech stack that pros are using right now.
First things first, let's get our bearings. It is so easy to get lost in all the buzzwords, so we're starting way up high with a bird's eye view. We need to see how artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science all fit together in the real world.
Okay, so think of artificial intelligence, or AI, as the grand vision. It's the huge, ambitious goal of creating machines that can think, reason, and make decisions kind of like we do. It's the entire universe we're playing in.
Now, inside that universe is machine learning, or ML. This is the real workhorse that makes most of today's AI possible. See, instead of programming a computer with a million rigid rules, an ML model learns from examples. It's like you show it thousands of emails and tell it, this is spam, this isn't, and eventually it just gets the patterns and can spot spam all on its own. It's the engine.
And this is where things get really interesting today. These fields aren't separate anymore. They've merged into this powerful, continuous loop. Think of it this way. Data is the fuel. Machine learning is the engine that burns that fuel to create predictions. And data science, that's the driver, asking the right questions, figuring out what the results mean, and steering the whole thing towards something useful. It's a nonstop cycle of learning and getting smarter.
So, if data is the fuel, we'd better understand what kind of fuel we're dealing with, right? Because literally every single intelligence system is built on data. There's no exception. So let's break down its different forms. Data really comes in three main flavors. At the top, you've got your structured data. This is the neat and tidy stuff in rows and columns, like a spreadsheet. Super easy to work with. Then you have unstructured data. This is the messy, chaotic, but really rich world of emails, videos, and social media posts. It's way harder to process, but it's where all the good stuff is. And finally, kind of bridging the gap, is semi-structured data, like a JSON file, which uses tags to bring a little bit of order to the chaos.
And get this, a whopping 90% of the world's data is unstructured. This is absolutely the biggest challenge, but also the biggest opportunity in AI today. Being able to make sense of all this messy human stuff, text, images, audio, that's what makes modern AI so powerful. The real gold is hidden in the chaos.
Okay, so having a mountain of data is great, but it's totally useless if it's dirty or disorganized. So before we can even dream about building a fancy model, we have to build a rock-solid foundation. And that's where data engineering and analytics come into play.
This pipeline right here, this is the unsung hero of machine learning. Seriously, it's not glamorous, but it's where most projects either succeed or fail. It starts with collecting the data, then comes the really time-consuming part, pre-processing. This is all about cleaning up the mess, dealing with missing information, and getting everything standardized. You've heard it before, garbage in, garbage out. The quality of your model completely depends on this step. And that leads us to one of my favorite parts of the whole process, feature engineering. This is seriously an art form. It's about turning raw data into meaningful signals that the model can actually understand. A model might not get much from a raw birth date, right? But if you create a new feature called age, well, suddenly you have an incredibly powerful piece of information. This is where human creativity really makes a huge difference.
So once our data is clean, we can start asking questions. I like to think of analytics as a ladder. We start on the bottom rung with descriptive analytics, just figuring out what happened. Then we climb up to diagnostic to understand why it happened. Then we get to the cool part, predictive analytics, which is forecasting what will happen next. And at the very top, the most valuable step is prescriptive analytics, telling us what we should do about it. That's the promised land.
All right, we've got clean data, we've got great features. Now it's time to fire up the engines. Let's look at the three core ways that machines actually learn. First on the list is supervised learning.
The best way to think about this is like studying for a test with an answer key. You give the model a ton of data where you already know the right answers, like all those spam emails we talked about. The model studies them and learns the patterns so that when a new email comes in, it can make a really good guess. This is perfect for things like fraud detection or predicting house prices.
Next up is unsupervised learning. And with this one, we take the answer key away. We just give the model a massive, unlabeled pile of data and say, find something interesting in here. It's all about discovery. So for example, an online store could use this to automatically find groups of customers who behave in similar ways, revealing valuable segments they never even knew existed. And finally, we have reinforcement learning. This is all about learning through trial and error. Just like you train a dog, you have an agent, say the AI in a self-driving car, and it takes an action. If it's a good action, it gets a reward. If it's a bad one, it gets a penalty. And after millions and millions of tries, it figures out the best possible strategy to get the most rewards. This is the magic behind AIs that can master chess or control a robot.
So where does deep learning fit into all this? Well, you can think of it as a superpowered, specialized kind of machine learning. The key difference is this. With traditional ML, a human has to do that clever feature engineering. But deep learning, using these complex things called neural networks, can learn the important features all by itself, straight from raw data like an image. The catch? It needs a ton of data. And sometimes it's a black box, meaning it's really hard to know why it made the decision it did.
Okay, we've seen the concepts, we've seen the data, we've seen the engines. Now, let's pull all these pieces together and see how a real-world project actually gets built from start to finish. This is the complete machine learning lifecycle. The whole thing is really a loop. It never truly ends. It all starts with defining the problem. Then you go through data prep and model training. Once you find a model that works well, you deploy it. But, and this is so important, it doesn't stop there. The final step is monitoring. Teams are constantly watching for something called data drift. That's just a fancy way of saying the real world changes, so the new data doesn't look like the old data anymore. When that happens and performance drops, the loop starts right back at the beginning.
And for our last section, let's talk tools. What does the toolbox for building these intelligent systems actually look like here in 2026? What are people using?
Well, the modern tech stack is all about being modular and living in the cloud. At its heart, Python is the undisputed king. For actually building those deep learning engines, you're going to see frameworks like PyTorch and TensorFlow everywhere. The data itself? It lives in huge, scalable storage systems like Amazon S3. To get the models out into the world, teams use tools like Docker and Kubernetes. And to manage that whole lifecycle we just talked about, they use MLOps tools like MLflow to keep track of every single experiment and make sure the whole process is solid.
So, there you have it, the blueprint for building intelligence. We've gone from the big picture ideas all the way down to the specific tools you'd use. The architecture is clear, the components are all there, and the possibilities, well, they're pretty much endless. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?